What's up everybody, Zero Ice here, more Call of Duty Black Ops veteran walkthrough. This is Rebirth Part 2, and I'm sorry if this one's a little laid back. I've been doing all of these since numbers back to back to back to back to back. I'm a little tired, and so now I'm just chilling, lounging, having a beer. So these are going to be a little more laid back for these last two videos. At the end of the last video, I kind of cut it off. You saw there was a helicopter. Do not worry, you cannot kill that helicopter. He will shoot you and a little cutscene will happen, and you will spawn this. As you can see, you're wearing a gas mask and you have a thermal scope on this gun that shoots a pretty good ways. I think it's the Enlil. Shoots a pretty good distance, not very accurate. Make sure you fire in about, essentially like a machine gun, you want to fire in about 3-shot bursts. Not a machine gun, an M16. They're all machine guns. But you have a gas mask on. You can see the cracks already around the edges. Those are going to differentiate between this little section as I die quite a bit. The achievement for this little area, as I was talking about in the first video, you can get it if you're a good shot and you know how to hide, and that is to make it from point A to point B the entire time through the Nova 6 area of this level without breaking your mask. Essentially, make it through this entire level without dying. Even if you restart, you cannot get the achievement because your mask will have already broken at least once. Also, this is the same level still. Keep in mind that this is Rebirth, so if you die and you want to get the achievement, don't restart level. You will go back to where you were with Mason and Reznov, not back to while you're playing as Weaver and Hudson. That's important. Treyarch did not put in a revert to last checkpoint. The only way to go back to your last checkpoint is to die, and that would defeat the purpose of getting your achievement here. So make it through the first part. You can see there was a whole bunch of guys in the hallway, or that little courtyard. It's kind of hard to differentiate between who is good and who is bad, but I found a little pro tip in case you're curious about who is who. The guys that shoot at you are the bad guys. So keep that in mind. If you're getting shot, shoot that guy. I have found out that no matter how many times you shoot your teammates, they actually won't turn around and fire back at you. I go to the left of this little section, two guys come out from the left side, there was a bunch of guys in the courtyard that are too far away to actually hit you, so crouching into the windowsill and firing kind of prevents that. There is a guy or two that spawn up in the top rafters and windows of the buildings. As you can see, you can't see farther than about 30 feet in front of you, so you're going to have to kind of crouch and just scan the horizon to where you think he should be on a second floor window, about that height, and try and find him with your thermal scope. This is, I think, the hardest part of this level, at least for right now, and that they're all in a courtyard and there's quite a few guys, and because your whole team is up here, they're all looking in this direction. So this is what makes it a little more difficult, as well as you can see guys in the top. But it's a little more difficult in this section because they're all already looking up here. And usually I try and make it so that my team is in front of me and I'm in a different spot than they are. That way I kind of have the area of flanking, I guess. And as you can see, I was shooting the private and he didn't turn and fire at me, so I figured he was a good guy. When it looks clear, how's it look now? Looks clear. I killed that last guy. That guy will respawn continuously unless you continue to move forward. So I sprint, jump, and dolphin dive. And luckily it sets a little checkpoint right here because I die again shortly after this little section. So I think when you get into this room by the private pepper dude, you get a checkpoint right there. Little spoiler alert, later in the game, Private Pepper becomes Sergeant Pepper, and he starts a band. You can't fire through the windows, they're boarded up. I think that's kind of shitty, but luckily the wood pile provides a lot of coverage for you. You're actually flanking these guys. There's already a set of the CIA team over here on the left of you. So you get the element of surprise. You could be able to take out all 3 or 4 of those guys without ever having to retake cover. I just was a terrible shot and missed the first guy. You do have to get a Stella 3 and take out these, or Strela 3, excuse me, and take out 2 helicopters. As you can see, when I ran over it, I dropped my main gun. That was a terrible fucking decision to do that. I also don't grab the right one back. So switch out to your secondary light machine gun like this one, and and drop this one and keep your original enlil. It's not very good at long range, but it's a good scope to be able to find people. After the helicopter section, you get out of the Nova 6 area. I have an AK-74U as a primary with a red dot scope and this H21 extended mag light machine gun. I killed the guys on the roof, as you originally saw. Those guys are going to be the ones that kill you. If you kill the 3 guys in this area I'm standing in now quickly enough, you can shoot the guys before they run up and get into their positions in the front part of this courtyard. This whole courtyard is an infinite respawn area. In fact, the rest of this level is an infinite respawn area if you don't continue running fast enough. Usually what I'll do is I'll clear it out, and then in some sections I actually wait for another respawn to happen. That way I can make sure I've killed everybody, and then I run forward again. As you're running forward, guys come out of the doorway that I'm staring at now. Sometimes there's a guy in the second floor window right above where my reticle is. And on the big factory building in the back, you can kind of see with the smokestacks, there's going to be 2 guys up there. So make sure that you pay attention to the rooftops, because that's where you're going to die at. I'm making my way to the left. Obviously, I don't know why I always go to the left. That's the way that it was hanging that day. The guys like to use a lot of the barricades and the railings as cover. When you get to this little section right here, right by this spool and this jeep, you cut off the infinite respawn for the first half of the courtyard. Every enemy that spawns is only going to come out of that building right there with the big star on it, the big nautical star. So essentially, you come in here, grab the RPG if you want. I've had my experiences with the RPG twice now, and neither experience was good, so fuck the RPG. One guy will run behind that vehicle that I just shot. There's a spool or a set of boxes in the middle of the courtyard on the other side of this little railing. 1 or 2 guys will go and spawn right there, as well as 3 guys will go and spawn behind the railing in front of the doorway. Inside of the building, there's 2 guys behind the receptionist counter. There's 1 guy up on the upper balcony. There's actually a guy right above me in the second floor window, but he can't shoot straight down to hit me, so fuck him. As you can see, I did grab an RPG. It didn't kill anybody, so screw that weapon. The guy up top will infinitely respawn unless you move inside of the building. Eventually, the 2 guys behind the receptionist counter will respawn, but they take a whole lot longer. So really your concern is once you kill the guy up top, that's when you need to press in. Your guys on your team will kind of give you the indication, hey, you should probably move in now.
Watch it, soldier.
Weaver got in my way, what can I say? There's a guy with an LMG at the end of this hallway. It's not a nest, it's just a guy with a handheld light machine gun, but he doesn't hesitate to kill you very quickly. There are 2 doors on your left. There's a guy in each doorway. A lot of times though, the guy in the second doorway will go into the back of the hallway with the guy with the light machine gun, so killing both of those guys kind of nullifies that, and you don't need to go into both rooms. The guy on the left, however, will keep spawning. Even though it's a dead end back there, they come from, you know, magical fairy dust, I guess. 1-800 get a henchman. After you take a shower with Weaver, and I'm not exaggerating or kidding at that, you take a shower with Weaver, you have to run down this stairway and kill a couple of guys. Weaver goes ahead of you and he'll kill most of them. It's pretty nice because what I found about staircases and graded floors in this game is that you can be shot up through a grate, but you cannot shoot down through a grate. That's a pain in the ass, especially multiplayer, but it does suck in this campaign a little bit. You're in the same area now, if you recognize it in a second, that you were in with Reznov and Mason. You're in the monkey lab area. You will see a couple of the dead bodies that you shot, which is convenient. There, if you killed a lot of people when you were playing as Mason, they'll all be dead, and this room will be mostly clear when you come in here as Hudson and Weaver. That guy, I'm pretty sure, will always be alive, so just either shoot or knife him when you get a chance. As you can tell, I am being shot at. There are some enemies that spawn here, but not as many as there were the first time around. They also use a lot more cover this second time that you're in this room than they did the first time. They play a lot more cautious. If you go left though into the kind of like dissecting room, Weaver tells you they didn't see you to let them pass, but I mean, no mercy, right? So there's 4 of them. You should be able to shoot 2 or 3 of them before they go in. I usually do hesitate slightly, that way they're in front of me and kind of through the doorway before I start firing, because if you just go in there balls to the wall and shoot, they all turn around and cap your ass. So yeah, don't do that part. Kind of wait until they're more into the walkway, into the hallway. A few more guys in this room, not a whole lot, but this is essentially the end of the level. I don't want to ruin it for you. I'm going to post Redemption next and then Revelations. Revelations will be the last video. It's very spoiler heavy. It pretty much is the story. So if you want to see it, go ahead, but if not, I don't want to ruin it for you.